Heaven is my home. Heaven is my home.
Vill du veta, ska jag svara? Du behöver bara vara. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Ingen oro, ingen fara. Här finns inget att försvara. Här är bortom samsara. Här är Gud alla Ishvara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Bara vara här. Vart kan du gå? Vart kan du fara? Hur kan du glömma eller spara? När här är det självklara. En sanning, det underbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Kristallklara, uppenbara. Bara vara här. 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 Det är allt jag kan förklara. Du är det uppenbara. Behöver bara vara. Bara bara vara. In my heart, an ocean. In my heart, you. In my heart, an ocean. In my heart, you. A white bird is carrying me. Her name is Grace, she takes care of me. She flies me to the deep blue. She brings me to you. We have to drown here completely. If we truly want to live. So take a look in every mirror. Until you find you can't be seen. In my heart, an ocean. In my heart, you. In my heart, an ocean. In your heart, I am.
Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Mujiji ki Jai. Namaste. Right now, who am I? Before we can think about it. Not who am I, who am I? Before a concept can be picked up about it. Before I need to define. Before I've figured out who I am. You are, isn't it? There is nothing missing in that. Before we pick up the idea of missing, before we pick up the idea that I am something, there is nothing missing. And awareness is just aware that I am or aware that I am not. Even before we can use the words I am or I am not, prior to any of these concepts, the sense I am is here, that which we call the waking state or the dream state. And it is our direct experience also that the sense I am is not there in that which we call the sleep state. Why this can seem like a journey only is that for a long time we seem to be trying to convince our mind. You see? We feel that convincing that which we believe ourselves to be is freedom. So we feel that when I completely believe that I am consciousness or I completely believe that I am awareness, then I will be free. And because I don't completely believe it yet, I am not there yet. You see? But this freedom doesn't need your belief, doesn't need our belief. It is prior to that. You see? So that which needs belief can only be an idea. Only ideas can be believed in. Truth cannot be believed in. And the ideas can be beautiful or they can be terrible, but only just ideas. Before the idea, are you not? Before your mind, who can say I am not? With integrity. I've seen some very conceptually Advaita types who can say, I don't exist. What they mean is that I don't exist personally. Yes. But they do exist as consciousness. Say I that I always believed myself to be has never existed. But the presence of consciousness is appearing, and it is appearing to that I which is constantly here called awareness. So when it is said I don't exist or you don't exist at all, it is referring to this idea of the separate entity. Otherwise, at best, we are saying that I know I don't exist. I know this. See, I know that I don't exist. I saw that I don't exist. It's so clear. I saw. You see? What is happening? Why is the confusion? The confusion only is that I saw that I don't exist as a phenomenal entity. Person, anyway, long gone because just an idea. But I don't exist as a phenomenal entity. Who saw this or who knows this or who is aware of this? The knowingness or the awareness itself. So some might say that, oh, I am aware that there was no awareness. I know this, that even awareness was not there. The knowingness itself that knows that something was not there or was there is awareness. So either it can be that when we say I don't exist, we are talking about the non-existent idea that I had about myself, or it could be that we are talking about the phenomenal sense, even the sense I am not. I am that which is prior even to that. Or third, and most often, it is a definition type problem. It's a conceptual type, where the words have been used in different ways, and that leads to a lot of confusion. But Truth in itself means that which is not coming and going. Reality itself means that which is not coming and going. Appearances or Maya is that which is coming and going. So when it is said the realm of name and form, name means concepts, ideas, form means phenomenal appearances. So if Maya is the realm of name and form, then that which is aware of name and form must be nameless, formless. So then if awareness itself was coming and going, who would be aware of that? The fourth confusion also sometimes can be that we confuse what is the what I call the phenomenal perceiving to be the awareness. You see? The phenomenal perceiving is only arising in the presence of I am. Through the senses, the world. So the world uses awareness in this way. I'm aware of this glass, I'm aware of this concept, that which is phenomenally perceived. Obviously, that is subject to the presence of being, so that is coming and going. But who knows of, who is aware that phenomenal perceiving is happening? That is the awareness that we are talking about, not the phenomenal perceiving in itself. You see? So sometimes if you use awareness in that sense of phenomenal perceiving, then of course we can say yes, even awareness is coming and going and it belongs to my being. And the easiest way to unravel all of this for ourselves is to just stay with our direct experience. Use whatever pointers are available to us in satsang and check for ourselves, is this directly what is experienced here or not? The entire point of any spiritual practice and even self-inquiry is just to come to this direct experience of what we are. So what is our direct experience? Sleep is a direct experience. We don't have to learn about sleep in a school, that this is how you sleep, this is what happens in sleep. It's a very natural dissolution of the sense of being. And waking up is also direct experience, not conceptual. Where there was no sense of being, just awareness was aware of itself. Then there was now, made up of awareness itself, the sense of being. And with the birth of this sense of being, the entire circus, it starts. So much comes to life instantly. This whole play with all of its energies and forces, metaphysical, physical, and it's so alluring in a way that very quickly we get involved with it. Very quickly we get involved with the identity of being the person and the body. But in satsang, in self-inquiry, we slow it down and we look. So what is happening here? Being came to be. What happened? Along with the birth of being, we notice that there are also the forces of attention, of belief. There are these energies called thoughts, and the entire energetic creation that we call the world is present with all the forces of light, sound, gravity, electricity, all of this. But what happened to that awareness which is just aware of itself? Nothing happened to this awareness. It did not become an object within this phenomenal play. All of this objectivity, phenomenality is within it, but it itself did not stop being aware. It remained untouched and unmoved. This is the I that is ever present. And just the reverse of this happens when we go to sleep. In our scriptures, it is said, just like the legs of the turtle, this world rolls back into itself. So all of this, when sleep is coming, all of this rolls into being, and then being dissolves into that which it was always made up of, which is awareness itself. That is all that is going on. Everything else, if we say that there is something other than this, to me it seems to be just imagination. Because from our direct experience, this is what we can speak. Now, what happens is with the presence of being, then there can be this impulse towards conceptual understanding, because in this realm of phenomenality, we used to understand using our mind conceptually. But satsang leads us to a deeper sort of understanding, that understanding which is unreliant on any concept, is not changing based on the concept that we have. You see? The seeming life of the person changes with the concept that they are believing. It seems to change like that. So that is why all this positive thinking and think positive, self-help and all that exists. Think happy thoughts. Because the concepts that you carry seem to affect the person identity. Here what we're saying is that whether you have the most terrible thoughts or the best thoughts, that the truth of yours, what you are, is not changing. So whatever conceptual understanding we might have ultimately actually does not matter. And therefore we must stop fighting about any conceptual understanding. Oh, his understanding is like this, her understanding is like this is not compliant with my understanding, forget it. It's never about any conceptual understanding. Then the space that comes to look together only is from that sense of this is the way that I see it, and if there seems to be some disconnect with the way another sees it, then that is a beautiful contemplation that we can have together. And it is something that I'm always up for. So the Leela is the circus which is appearing in the presence of being, and the mind is the merry-go-round in this circus. It says, I'll take you there to the final destination, the merry-go-round. And you buy a ticket, it says, become a better person, or become like this, or become like that. Buy that ticket. You jump on the merry-go-round, and it seems to be moving. So initially, it can seem like we're making some progress, you see. And then it starts turning back, turning around. You say, no, 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 I'm losing it that way. I need to become a better person. You see? And then it starts going back again forward. So this merry-go-round, we realize that after a long time, we're just at the starting point. Then you say, I come to Satsang, I'm going to get off this merry-go-round. I've seen it, just a merry-go-round is not taking me anywhere. I'm going to get off. Okay? So yeah, I'm not going to buy the mind ticket, come what may. Then it comes up with another ticket. Something that says, now this is super. Now, you see, I'm going to take you to the super enlightened state or something. The mind says. And then again we buy. Something.
It's actually feeding only on differences
Yeah.
and apparent variety.
Yeah.
It's just playing on several things against each other. But in actuality, is there any difference of perception between, say, my, my view, my view, and yours? It makes it seem that there is a difference initially, and that gap has to be bridged.
She says, is there fundamentally a difference in perception between you and I? You see? And is there a gap there that needs to be bridged? So this is an interesting topic. So 2-3 points for this. One is that we just spoke about when we mean by perceiving, we are talking about the phenomenal perception. Okay? So the objects in our perception, obviously, they can be different, isn't it? The phenomenal perception through the senses must also be functioning in the same way. You see? But what we are talking about as awareness, as that which is aware even of this perceiving happening or not happening. Okay? Then the point is, of course, no difference there in awareness. The point is, if there is any difference, what seems to be, so I can talk about what happened here, where earlier, where some perceiving was happening, it was always along with the buying of the interpretation, what's in it for me. See? I saw that there was this, I see now that there was this habit to look at everything with the aid of the interpreter, which is saying, okay, what's in it for me in this? What's in it for me in this? If I talk to her, what's in it for me? If I speak to him, what's in it for me? Everything is like that. What value is being added to me because of it? It is always this me. So that gets dropped because you realize there is nothing that this world can give you. You have no need for anything as awareness. There is no need for anything. There is no lack of anything. And there is nothing that the world can give you. Because nothing in the world touches what I am anyway. You see? So then the sense of what's in it for me drops. Predominantly. Mostly it is not there. So then this perceiving is just happening as perceiving. Otherwise, it's like we constantly have this hearing aid on, which is saying, okay, now you're here, what's in it for you? Here, what's in it for you? Are you wasting time? Why is it like this? All of this. Selfish way of, I don't like the word selfish so much because it's a self-egoistic way of looking at life. That drops. And that is the only fundamental difference between how it was earlier here and how it is now.
Which makes for complete spontaneous engagement, which leaves you totally free to engage.
Exactly. And also this self-judgment goes missing. It's like, oh, why am I saying this? Am I saying the right thing? Why am I getting angry or not angry? Why is all this also then wrong? So you just watch it. You're watching the entire thing, you see, as a whole. You're not saying why am I doing this? Why is she doing this? Why is like that? So it's very spontaneous and fresh.
Do you revisit any of the things that happened previously that you revisit in your mind or saying on Satsang?
Yeah, there can be times like that where she said, "Do you revisit anything from the past?" Yeah, there can be times like that where, in fact, the other day I was telling someone who said, "Oh, but hindsight is 2020." So I said, "Okay, but if hindsight is the only thing which is 2020, then why not use it?" 2020 means complete clarity of vision. You see, because it's often said that, oh, but hindsight is 2020. It's okay to say it later, after event, you can see things clearly. So I said, okay, if hindsight is 2020, then it's good. Let's use it because it's 2020. It's a nice thing. There's no trouble with even referring back. The trouble is that if we refer back and we make judgments about ourselves and others, you see, and we pick up doership that I should not do this or do that, then it's very stupid.
One clarification. When you said, is the right time. When you said there is nothing that the world.
Just before that, just to go back is so beautiful because I felt, for example, at the end of the previous satsang, I felt I wanted to hear what Shakti said again. So I went back to the recording and heard it. Was very beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that forwards.
So when you said you realize nothing that world cannot do, is that more true, or is it that sense of me itself is so weak that it doesn't have anywhere to land on in the first place? And therefore, think of yourself. It's just openness and
it's just open. It's just open. But if you were to speak in phenomenal terms, then you would say that the I that is here, awareness, or even being, if you're referring to yourself as that, you see, it cannot be attacked and it has nothing to be offered. Yeah. But you're not going, oh, you're not roaming out in the world saying I'm invincible and nothing can hurt me. And you have nothing, not like that. It's just that this openness comes from this fearlessness. You cannot have fear and be open at the same time. Because if there's fear, the sense, and I'm not talking about the momentary appearance of the emotion called fear. It's a conceptual fear that this should not happen or this should happen. You see? So if you have that, then you cannot be open, because if you're constantly hoping that, oh, this should not happen or this should not come, I hope I don't have this kind of interaction, then you can't be open.
Hello.
Hello, my dear.
You're on an interesting subject, so I thought I'd ask you a question.
Yes, my dear, of course.
So with the retreat a while ago, we started Muji Sangha Joburg, right? So we had this beautiful retreat in my home, and
No, we started what? That was not very clear.
Oh, we started Muji Sangha Johannesburg.
Johannesburg, okay.
Johannesburg, South Africa.
Yes.
Jayani runs Cape Town, and I run Joburg.
Very good.
So we call it Josie for short. But anyway. So we had beautiful silent retreat, and it was amazing, right? And then we started, all of a sudden Guruji stopped giving Sunday satsangs, because our intention was to do every Sunday. So I sort of left it for a while, and then recently, about a month and a half ago, there's so many friends who came to the retreat who started saying, please can we have satsang, please can we have satsang. So we start having satsang. We have every 2 weeks, we all get together. There's a lot now. There's like about 25 people now. And we play like a video of Guruji, and it's all beautiful. We sing and we chant. It's all lovely, right? But what's happening is, so then I like say thank you for satsang, switch everything off, switch the videos off, and say goodbye, and then they all stay. And then they start asking me questions, right? So some of the questions are very easy, because they're still very new in satsang, so they ask the very simple questions. So I don't feel like I'm unqualified to answer them. But so what's happening is, then afterwards, I have this, my mind wants to try and say, like you shouldn't be answering the questions, or like you're not qualified. You know, it wants to start with that. And now I don't listen. It doesn't get anywhere, right? Immediately I'm like, I can feel it coming, and when I can feel that energy of the mind, I don't even go down the road, right? And now it's doing something else where it's going, you're being arrogant by not listening to, you should listen to that, because that's how you stay humble. And if you ignore this thing, you know what I mean? It's doing that like, so anyway, I thought I'd just like talk to you about it, because I just feel like it's all completely natural, and it's not, I'm not going like I'm a teacher or anything like that, you know, and there doesn't ever feel like there's judgment of what I'm saying, because it's just coming through the mouth, and it's not being taught by a person. The answers come, I don't remember what I say, it's completely clean. You know, it just feels clean, and it just feels fine.
Very good. Very good. I have a few things to say about this, because it resonates very well with what happened here. As you well know, actually, that a few years ago, same thing happened. No, I don't even remember how many years now. Maybe three or four, three maybe. Where after Guruji went back from his India visit, there was a sense that we must start sharing video satsang. So then what I did is we said every fortnight, just like you, once in 2 weeks, we would get together here on a Saturday at 4:30 p.m. And
oh, that's so funny. Ours is on a Saturday at 4:30.
Yes, it just works like that. So Saturday 4:30 p.m. We said we'll get together. But what happened is that most of the Muji Sangha members in Bangalore who had discussed, yes, we should do this and we'll do this, actually first time maybe didn't show up at all. And it was maybe me and some other friends who were here. So I said that we are doing Guruji's video satsang, so I must invite other people. So what I actually went and did is, went on Facebook, and Facebook used to have this thing called graph search at that time. I don't know if you know that. So you could do a search like people who live in Bangalore and like the Muji page. So I did the search like that and came up all these names. You know, I don't remember the original name now, but the ones who are called Ram, Bhakti, Jyotika, all these people, their names came. And there was this sense, even then, that is it okay to just unsolicited, you did a search, is it okay to invite them, is it fine? And then something just said, just let's see what happens. And I invited all of them, and they were so touched to get an invite like this. They said we were looking for somewhere to have satsang because we went to Thiru, was it, or Rishikesh, and we were hoping that there would be some sort of sangha where we could meet up. So very beautifully it started like this, that some of these kids started coming for a video satsang. And same thing at the end of satsang, after maybe 2 or 3 times they came, they just felt like, we feel that we can ask you something, so ask you. And the answer would also come from here. And the mind would be saying, but why are you answering? Why are you answering this question? You know, it's not your job to answer like this. But what I started noticing was that I can't stop it. It was just flowing on its own, just this flow. There was nothing that anyone could do about it. It just started happening on its own. So, but one thing I noticed was that these kids, they started coming when the time for the video was getting over. So they started coming when the video time was getting over, and they could come and ask me questions. So I started making rules. No, you must come before the video starts, 10 minutes and all that. They would just not listen, you know them. So they just don't listen, right? So they started coming more and more. Sorry, we got stuck in traffic. Sorry, this happened. Sorry. And knowing me, I will never turn anyone away anyway. So it was like this. So I didn't, somewhere it was like, are you being disrespectful to your master or something like this? So I just wrote to him and I said, this is happening, and these kids have started coming. And then what happened is that what was the immediate trigger for me to write to Guruji was Darshan in Bangalore. He came to my house on the Sunday after that, and he said, "I want you to do to me what you did yesterday." Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. It was all whatever happened was Guruji's grace. So he's like, no, in your presence, it's just there was no mind, and I was blissed out and things like this. So he just said, "Can I come and sit with you for some time?" Something like that. So then something here was, the traditional student here was starting to react and say, "Oh, this is not right." So immediately then after he left, I wrote to Guruji and said, "See, this is what's happening." And then today this one came and said, some beautiful grace is flowing through you. So just tell me what to do. And he said that this is what I've been telling you for so long. And you have my full support in getting more and more to our beautiful Sangha of being. So use the phrase Sangha of being, within stuck. So just like this, it flowed. And I would say just the same thing. If you feel that naturally something is unfolding, but the mind still has this question, are you being arrogant and are you supposed to be doing this? Just write to the master. Just write to him, because we're sharing video satsang with Guruji. Just write to Guruji. If you're asking for my blessing, all of you always have it anyway. So I'm always very happy if it's flowing through you. So I'm very happy like this. But just in terms of the traditional protocol, which I'm still a believer in, since it's after Guruji Satsang that this sharing is happening, it might make sense to just write and clarify that this was.
And I was just marveling at the fact that I don't analyze it afterwards, like you were speaking about just now, that I don't retain a memory of it, I don't analyze it, I don't judge it, it just doesn't, there's just nothing, so that's why it feels good, and it feels like like it's very natural, but that is also why the mind can jump in and say, be careful, be careful.
Exactly.
It's trouble.
Good that maybe if you're not analyzing or judging it, it's very good. But I must admit, when it started flowing from here, there was also the voice of the mind that used to go, wow, this is good stuff.
No, mine is the opposite. Mine is like, this is so bad. This isn't anywhere near Ananta ji or Muji how they teach, and you're not quite getting to the right sort of level. Mine is the opposite. Mine is, this is bad stuff. This is inferior stuff. While it's going. And then I just don't believe it. And then I'm like, thank you, Father. I'm not believing it. Thank you. Because the thought will come. It definitely still comes. But yeah, there's no holding on to that. So thank you. Thank you.
Very good. I'd be very happy actually if one day what you could do is, after the DVD is over, then you put on the broadcast on the Advaita channel and we get to see what you're sharing. It'll be very beautiful for us.
Okay. And my mind will go, that's way too arrogant. Broadcasting.
I know, so that's why you need that prodding from me. That's why I'm prodding.
I'll make you a recording and send it to you first. We still have a very young Sangha,
Yes.
So it still is very much just friends talking to friends about the simple basics of the teaching, and it still feels very pure and very raw and just lovely because it's so new for everyone. they are so grateful and they're so overwhelmed, and there's just like this beautiful, they shed tears of joy. It's just very lovely. Yeah.
Very good. Very happy to hear this. Very good. Guruji actually himself has said many times that I'm not here to create followers. I'm here to create beacons of light or lions which are roaring with truths, not sheep which are following. Okay, Pratik, no, yeah, Pratik says, beloved, still there are traces of egoic consciousness. Egoic consciousness is what? Consciousness, believing thoughts could be ego. Let's put it simply like that. And egoic thoughts, all thoughts are egoic. Egoic thought slash behavior. Behavior which is seen to be, but not actually is, but seems to be the after effect of believing in thoughts. Okay, let's call that egoic behavior. Okay. Although it is not a problem for me as awareness, still there is longing for complete freedom from egoic identity. Yes, yes, my dear. Just drop the word complete. Longing for freedom from egoic identity means what? That it is the being itself which is tired of playing as a person, you see, and wants to say, I'm done with this. And that's why I've given you the tool, which is don't believe your next thought. So freedom from egoic identity is available right here, right now, if you're not believing what the mind is saying. And you know this very well, that most beliefs and most concepts will just come and go, but some will be sticky. Those you use into your inquiry. What identity is still here? So if it's thoughts about work or relationships, find out who is the worker, who is the one who has relationships. So pull these thoughts into your inquiry and keep inquiring until they lose all their juice and you laugh at them. Then even these strongholds of identity, they will weaken more and more, till ultimately, as with most other thoughts, even belief in these will not be strong. And as belief is being withdrawn from thoughts, you will find that attention also becomes calm. It is not going to every thought that is coming. Just in this way, very simple. Then you say, although inquiry happens simultaneously with egoic thoughts. Yes, so this is good in itself. So without it being picked up, without it being given belief, there is no ego. Thought is just a thought, just this energy construct called thoughts. They are coming and going. Without our belief, it does not become the ego. The problem with this instruction is that it's too simple and therefore somewhere unsatisfying to the mind. You see, it feels like, oh, there must be something more that I could do, and I want that one-shot head-chopping experience or something like that. It's not about any experience. Just whenever the sense comes that there is some suffering or some button being pressed somewhere, just then inquire into what you are believing yourself to be and simply don't believe your next thought. If they seem too sticky, then pull them into your inquiry. We must not also be obsessive about the self-inquiry, because that also perpetuates the seeker identity. You see? So we're constantly going, who am I, who am I? And it's clear you are nobody, you're still going, who am I, who am I? It doesn't help. It's just keeping the seeker identity alive. So suffering, some sense of discomfort, the yucky feeling of believing a thought now will become stronger and stronger. And when this sense comes that something is being believed, it will be dropped either on its own or through your inquiry. No need to rush into anything. And say like detonator for ego. Detonator for ego, as Mujiji says. Satsang is the detonator. It's doing all the detonation that is needed. He also says very beautifully that every expression has a unique way of unfolding. For some it can be instant noodles, some it can be stir fried, some it can be a slow cooking. It's all okay. For me, easier to say that don't presume that you are the seeker in the first place and you are free right now. David says it happened here too. Similar experience to Parvati. Very good. A Sangha has arisen here, and sometimes people answer questions, but it just flows. Yes, yes. Sometimes I just close my eyes and have no answer, but someone else speaks. Very good. Yes, this is good because this sense that okay, now I'm sharing or something, and then I must have all the answers. Even that drops. So in that surrender, then whatever unfolds is beautiful. There can be also times where it can seem like something is constricted. You see, she was asking about checking back. So I'll give you an example of when I check back. It can be at times that, energetically, sometimes here something seems very constricted and words really don't want to flow out. So at the end of satsang, you feel, oh, today there was just no flow or something like that. Then you want to see, okay, so how was it? And you go and play it back and you find, oh, it was just very beautiful actually. So the predominant experience here has been to check back and find it very sweet. You see? So, and that builds more and more trust in the Sadguru in the heart, in Mojiji's voice, which speaks from here, that though whatever feelings might be coming, whatever sense, whatever the mind might be saying about it, the Sadguru is holding our hand very beautifully and is flowing very naturally.
There was some discomfort initially, though. Excuse me. Like Parvati shared, this uncomfortableness around maybe people projecting, guru, onto me. But even that was kind of just, well, it's just a temporary appearance, and it is what it is. Just, it just is what it is. And people are sharing very beautifully from their own hearts, and there isn't this sense of specialness, like I have something to give others, or and yeah, it's just a beautiful way of meeting together and watching you or Guruji and sharing silence, and yeah, it's happening by itself, so it's not like an idea came, I'm gonna have a sangha. It's just it just evolved like that. We share in many ways, and go and see teachers up in London, Rupert or Tony Parsons, and we even went to a rave on Saturday together. There's a few of us, and there's this connection beyond just when you're in the presence of Sangha, that beauty, an innocence, this purity of love. No, it's a family. It's family, is it's family. I used to kind of cringe at that sense of family. We're not like blood related, but it really is this sense of family. And I experienced it when I went up to when I was serving at the Guruji's intensive in London, and that's where people have come from. People that attended that intensive have been drawn to this Sangha, and yeah, it's very beautiful.
I wanted to tell David that in my experience, I think moderating helped me a lot with this. When I was moderating all the satsangs for so long, because everyone would thank me a lot and say, "Oh, thank you for moderating," and I really had a feeling like I wasn't doing it, like it was just happening. And I was even talking to Guruji about that and saying to him it was just flowing, it was just happening. And I feel the same thing, David, with the sanghas. Like it's just happening. And the minute you start to have some kind of judgment in yourself of like how you're doing or what you're doing or if you should be doing it, you've made yourself into a separation again. And then you can overlay all of stuff onto that separateness. But if you really just stay in like pure happening, then you can have no judgment of the totality, and no feelings about it either way, good or bad, That's my 5 cents.
Very good, Maggie. Very happy that this beautiful unfolding is happening with all of you. And I'm also very happy that I'm part of your beautiful unfolding in this way. And I'm waiting with a sense of wonder as to how much light this beautiful Sangha is going to share in this world. So if there is some attachment here, it is to this idea. So I truly feel that. I used to say often, now I stopped saying that as much, but I used to really say often that this Sangha will be the light of the universe. And it doesn't mean this Sangha and Sangha of being, just all of you that are coming to the light of your own truth and radiating so beautifully with this light. And some of you also know that the reason why I encourage everyone to broadcast now, I catch everyone who comes to Satsang on Friday and make them share. It's just because I know that sometimes some irrational fears of being in front of people or being broadcasting or sharing like this in front of a computer can be there. So this is my way of just letting everyone break through those things, work through those things very easily, in a safe environment like this. And just like this, I always felt here that anything that was needed, any help that was needed for anything, always showed up. Always. It could be technology, it could be devices, it could be whatever, and it just shows up. It could be all of you, like Parvati showed up just when it was time for us to move from Ustream. She did this very nice YouTube broadcast, and all of us said, I might be getting the chronology wrong, but, but she just came and helped us sort all of this technology out. I bought this computer because I felt I needed a machine which could be useful for programming heavy duty. I was learning some programming at that time, and ever since I bought the machine, I've never programmed on it. Which it's got a big nice camera and everything. The quality of broadcast went up so much. Some of you remember the previous broadcast, the audio used to be so bad, and sometimes the video would not work, and still we would get together and sit together. It was very sweet. And then sometimes it would not work, the computer, and I would try the iPad and use that. On the iPad, I could see no chat, so it was just, we've been through all this. It's beautiful. No? That's why all of you should enjoy these times and know that everything is only happening through Guruji's grace.
I remember David when he first came, and you told him that he must start reading on the channel. He was so shy. And his readings are so beautiful, so much silence and power in them, you know. Beautiful Sangha. Everyone who reads. All the answers, when they answer in Satsang, I marvel at their wisdom, you know. So beautiful.
Yes. I have told David that his sharing is always so beautiful. It's very good. I'm very happy with this TGIF satsang also. Although I'm sure we can come up with a better name for it, but for now, Friday satsang. And it makes no difference whether you come for the first time and how you are expressing and what you're saying. It's just the sense that there's a sense of surrender to the Sadguru within and the allowing of whatever words have to come. For me, it's very beautiful to watch. Okay, Nicholas says the funny question arises when told I am free. The funny question is free to do what? uh, free from the sense of the doer also. Prior to the sense that I am the doer, you are. See, I am the doer. This I, before it picks up the sense that I am the doer, it still is, isn't it? And tell me if it's too abstract for you, I will make it simpler. The I that presumes itself to be the doer, or the I amness which presumes itself to be the doer, is present even without the doer identity. So as you remain in satsang, as you come to satsang, you will find that all is just a happening. You find that there is no doing. I found also recently there has been some confusion around, okay, so if consciousness is doing, we say like that, consciousness is the one doer and one experiencer, but it's not really the doing in the doing sense of the word. You see, it's just the light which is projecting this entire play. There is no doing. Nobody is doing anything. It's all just a happening. Not even a happening, we can say, but happening is a better word to use than doing. Because the minute we say doing, then the sense of how is it doing, how is it, how can I do this or that. Nobody is doing anything, everything is just appearing. Because nobody has found a doer. Everything is just happening on its own. So free means that if you check right now, you will not find any bondage. It does not mean that you are a free person or something. There is no such thing as a free person. Because freedom is freedom from the sense of being a person. So when it is pointed out that you are free, all that is meant to do is to check, is there any bondage here right now? What binds me right here? Before I can pick up a thought, before I can interpret an emotion, what is here that I am? And is this not completely free? That's why, in fact, the other day also I shared about why I say you are free and yet I say keep coming to satsang. Because many times it's heard like this, oh, I'm free, done, go, bye bye. And that's also okay. But my advice to you usually will be keep coming to satsang, because I am free, that I'm saying, is not a concept for you to pick up. I am free is a pointer that you use to check if there is something bound. And every time we check, our beliefs that we have about ourselves, our conditioning, is dissolving more and more. That is what satsang is for. To rid ourselves of these beliefs, these ideas, these pretenses that we have picked up. So the looking and finding the freedom that is present right here, right now, is in great service to the dissolution of all of these concepts. So free to do what? No, more like freedom from the doer itself. Okay, Dillon is here. Dillon says, do these thoughts get the energy from I consciousness? Yes. There is only one energy called consciousness. Everything phenomenal is consciousness. Then you say, I feel identity is the cardinal issue. Yes. I have almost separated the body, and now the body has become so innocent, so pure, and I am thankful to this body as a temple. Whenever there is any bumping against any objects, there is an apology towards the object and the body. But I'm sure identity makes me stick to some thought almost unaware of its fascinating movies. Some make me stick to some thought almost unaware of its fascinating movies. Okay? The subtle thoughts are getting your belief. That's what I'll read into that. And then suddenly there is awareness. Oh my God. I was lost in that cloud. And this keeps on happening here and there. Yes. So I feel like this slowly and with awareness, it is possible to be absolutely unattached to anything and comes up or goes around. I love you, Anantaji, at your kind feet. Thank you, my dear. Awareness is always unattached. We spoke about the genesis of this entire play in the beginning of Satsang today, where we said that the dynamic aspect of awareness, which we call consciousness, which comes with this energetic play of phenomena, this consciousness itself has the power of belief. So an attachment is what only a concept believed in. It can become a desire or an aversion, either way, but it's just a concept which is believed in. And the trouble with this is that all beliefs presume that there is a person here. So the sense of being the person is the egoic sense. So don't rely on any concept. Any concept. It is not in service to you. You will find that being is also dropping all of the conditioning, all of the beliefs, and coming to this unmixed presence, unassociated being. If you're here in satsang now, then don't even need to worry about where this is going. Am I coming to some final destination? You know? It's like recently we've been saying like this, that you're in the ICU now. Now you don't need to run about and get your thermometers and blood and all of that. Everything is taken care of. You just lie back and relax. And some of you are finding this example a bit morbid, I know, but so I have to speak from my own experience. I ran this, or at least I walked this half marathon once, and just got completely dehydrated, forgot to drink water. So I was admitted in the hospital, and after they put the first saline thing in, after that I started feeling perfectly fine. The doctor said, "No, you can't leave till tomorrow." I enjoyed that stay so much because everything was just, I was just lying back, and everything was there. You know, everyone was doing everything. It was just very beautiful. So just like that, now you're in satsang. It's God's ICU. Don't have to worry. Will I get there? Will I be free? When will I be discharged? Nothing. Just all is well. All is taken care of.
I see. I see you.
I see you. Yes. I see I. So don't even have this thermometer, which is tracking your progress, saying now I'm unattached or now for the body this is happening. Forget it. Forget it. All of it. I know the mind resists in some way because that's the way we've grown up. Saying I got this much percentage marks and now I'm getting distinction. Forget all that. No need to measure your temperature also. No grading, no marking, nothing. Just no concept. It's very good. You're very welcome here, my dear. Complete, yes, yes. No, my dear, the audio is not fine. It's sounding like sometimes we used to have these tapes which had gone bad. Maybe we test with you later and see how we can help you fix the mic. Yes, the voice is like in the cartoons. It's not coming properly. You can type. You can type what you wanted to say. I'd like to hear that. There's something in the YouTube chat. Karamveer says, okay, let me see. Starting from the beginning. Aparna said, yes, father, very true what you said. And it is very clearly seen that life goes on beautifully without the ego slash mind slash person. Very good. Karamveer said, I have a similar question. Like to ask on the hangout? Of course you can come, my dear. Amaya says, one beautiful part of Sangha sharing is this light is like passing torch of what has opened for us. Opens others that we are all one awakening. Yes. From Guru to Sangha to new ones. There's such a you as a person get free, you are more or less awake than others like that. Here it's like clouds clear from different sections of the sky. This is also a very good point. Since you tell us no person and this sense of one consciousness, what drops for us, we see how easily can drop for many. That's the whole point of satsang. And that's why the Buddha also said, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, I'm going to the refuge of the Buddha. And then he said, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami, I go to the refuge of the Sangha. And I know sometimes it can be a bit strong for some of you, the sense that, oh, why is he sharing or why is she sharing? I don't think he or she has got it yet, and make out whatever. But even that, there's some sense of identity will still remain in some condition, will still remain. Then the sharing of satsang itself will be a great fire which burns that. See, so it's good for this, whatever strands of identity might still remain. Satsang is very strong fire for that. It's very strong fire. And for us also, if some sense like this is coming, then we can observe that and see what is the identity which is still there. Of course, this does not mean that we will not be able to spot one error that is often made is that we feel that once there is freedom, then we are not even able to differentiate between colors or something like that. So if something smells of ego, you'll still be able to smell it, but it won't bother you. So this distinction will still be visible, but it will not lead to our identity.
Can I come, Father?
Yes, my dear, you can come. Good, you're here inside, yeah?
Uh, yeah, can you hear me okay?
Very well. I'm
Okay,
happy.
good.
Good.
Yeah. There's this, I'm just going to talk and see what comes. In the path that I've been on all these years, there was always this thing about we're personally responsible for getting free. And I understand at a deeper level what that is. But I think one of the greatest things that I thank you for is this dissolving of the personhood idea, And I remember after Papaji when the awareness was found and checked 1,000 times and never gone, and the presence just always here, there was still this feeling of like 3 levels. There's awareness, then there's presence, then there's this person, and the person keeps surrendering and somehow gets more available to be a good spiritual person or a clear person or not believe the ego or whatever. But all that's really been so much dissolved with you, and the part about not being a person here means that there's no persons anywhere. And I always could see that when you trace it back to awareness, you realize that when you take everything else away, it can only be one of us. And yet, it's just beautiful to see how much it's dissolving. And we were talking about the Satsang thing, and I know that when I was moved by this dream to go share in the Advaita channel and other people, we kind of did it as a, what if this was your last day on earth? That would mean the ego has no time. What would you want to say from your truth? It was really funny because I sensed that there were people that didn't necessarily take that very well, that I would go and do that, supposedly I. And I guess everything that's coming and happening, there's always this gratitude to you, because number one, if there is any arrogance, or even if there's not, even if it's just really, really pure, immediately there will be a huge hit from the ego. And it maybe won't even be about the pure thing that happened, but it'll just come to say, oh yeah, you think you're free, kind of thing, making a you out of it. And so that's the other great joy, is that in awareness there's nothing to be held on to. Really it's what's arising and what's going, and you can really see it, and it's not you. And in the same way, it's not them if they're doing something. So I'm just gotta say, which sounds like a personal level, but I'll just say it, is that my whole life this purpose has been awakening, but everybody awakening, assisting in everybody awakening. So it's almost been like, even if it never happened for me, if I could be a catalyst or pass on the words or somehow be a part of it, and other people were awakened just because I passed the torch on or something, that would be enough, because it's kind of like one of us just getting awake, and the more light there is, the better. So lately there's been this thing of people chatting with me or talking with me and asking me things, and I can tell that I'm passing on direct experience, but also it's your words, it's Moojiji's words, it's Papaji's words, it's what's been realized as the same truth, but you've given us the keys and the simplicity to really talk about it and pass it on in the easiest way and see through the places where maybe just a little shift in perspective could open something. But I just, maybe I speak for all of us, but there have been times when people say, like, I'm at your feet, Ma, please help me get free. And there's always this immediate turning it around into, well, no, I'm you. Can you see that there's just one of us, and maybe a few layers have peeled off here with realization, but it's the same layers that are peeling off of you right now. I mean, if I've said that right, I don't know, but you know what I mean? So I was just excited when I heard David and Parvati speaking, and I know for very many of us, even the times when something is hard, if somebody's right in front of us going, oh man, I feel terrible, you know, we might have these little tools that we can say, but who's watching that? And can you see that just comes and goes, and it's a sensation in the body or whatever. So that was one thing that I wanted to share, and just so much gratitude. Because, you know, the other day on Heart Altar was in this bliss and clarity and just absolutely nothing wrong, and so grateful, and it felt so true, and it was so true. And then the next day I was sad, and it was actually, I remember Devika saying this, it was exactly the same experience. It was, the peace is here, the awareness is here, the silence is here, and there's a different thing flowing over top of it, you know. It's not bought, it's still just as free, but it just seems to be more reactive on the surface, you know. I guess the other thing I wanted to say to you more as an exposing is that I'm in this place right now where I don't care about anything. If there's an I that doesn't care about anything, I mean, my heart is here, my compassion is here, so that kind of caring is responding to situations and people, but I'm just exposing it a little bit as if there's any arrogance here, that nothing matters, that if I share love songs, it doesn't matter, that if it looks like something personal is happening, it doesn't matter, if a flash of anger comes, who cares? I mean, this is revolutionary for who you would call me. That was always the thing. There's these latent tendencies. But I just don't want to get some kind of blasé or stop anywhere but there's no place to stop. It's just happening. It's just all happening. Anyway, I felt like giving that to you. I don't know how to describe it, but do you kind of know what I mean? It's just like, there's no more seeker, there's no more anything. Who cares about? But here I am still in satsang, so there's still just a real love and a real openness. I just don't know if there's a little bit of something that's saying, I don't know if it's okay to just get blasé, and it feels like there's something a little bit that smells in there about, what the hell, who cares, you know? So I give that to you, whatever that's about. I can't really put it into words. That's all I wanted to share.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. Yeah, I would not say blasé actually. I would just say that I use the word very often, unconcerned. It's really what is here, what we're discovering ourselves to be, is really not that concerned. Which is whatever's happening is happening. We can either say it's all just one happening, or we say it's all God's will, whatever is happening, God is doing. God's power. So, yeah, completely fine. Because you can find that even in the best identities which we had in the past, I'm a very compassionate person, a very nice person, so loving as a person, even those start dropping. You see these identities. You don't know what will occur the next moment. It could be great compassion, it could be even anger, it could be anything. This is beautiful because we're not even attaching to any identity that might have been held on to the past. And all of us very happy also what you spoke about earlier about sharing. We love hearing your songs and beautiful sharing. And also I feel that so much beautiful seva has happened through you. And so many actually have come to satsang because of your transcripts and all your seva. That all of this has been a very beautiful unfolding as well. And I completely trust the words that flow through you as well. I know that the Sadguru's presence is strong and it'll be very beautiful. Initially, there can be a little bit of this sense that, oh, okay, don't call me Ma, or don't say I'm touching your feet or something like that. Even here it was like that, where when everyone started calling me father, it could be like, father? What? Yeah. Like this, but it's good. There's great acceptance of the expressions of gratitude also which flow towards here, and we know ultimately it's pointing to the Sadguru within. So I know that initially it can seem like a little strange, but it's okay. It's fine. It'll settle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the feet of the Sangha too, and everybody even who talks to me, so it's the same Satguru. Uh, I don't have anything else to say except there was this feeling about the seva you thanked me for. You know how it always has just come through on its own and it's been there, but I just wanted to, of course, thank everybody else because there's been so many who have been on the teams and have done so much Sangha seva with me in the transcribing. So just so that's clear, I wish I could name everybody, but I post for a lot of people, but it's not always me. So beautiful seva from the Sangha itself. Okay. Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Over. You can come. Yeah. He's just talking about bhakti a while ago. She's here now. He's saying that they were sharing how other sanghas are just spontaneously forming, and they would get together and watch some videos, and then some question answers would start. So I was sharing the story here also. How all of you started coming for those video sessions. Did Karimbi come? He wanted to ask a question. Oh, he was trying from the cell phone. It's not working. Since I'm missing some questions, so I'm just going back to YouTube. My wife had organized a small get-together for some people at work, and at her work, and they came over, and some of them were asking, "So, what do you talk about in satsang?" And I always find that question the most difficult to answer. What do we talk about? Then Jasmine was there who comes to satsang, so I said maybe she can answer better. Then basically we got to this point where I was saying that usually in life we are looking at filling up our shopping cart with whatever possible, all our desires, I want this, I want that, and removing the things we don't want. I don't want this, I don't want. We carry this bag or shopping cart around everywhere. But here when you come to satsang, you come with the sense, oh, I want peace, or somebody is doing me, it's very good, keeping listening or something. I want to experience that. But you come and then you're told, but it's really not about that. The shopping cart could be anything. But here the question to be asked is who that I is. The I that wants or doesn't want. So I was sharing like this and I was telling them this is what it's about. So one of them actually said, but that's very unsettling. It's very disturbing also because our entire life we were focused on this I and what it is, and suddenly to question that I is very disturbing. And I felt it's a very valid point. This can be disturbing. Our entire sense has been I am here and this is what I want and this is what I want to do, this is my ambition, these are the things I have, I want these relationships. It's all dependent on this I. Right? So I was telling him that this is the reason why we're not so popular. Because here we are directly looking at what is the I, not what we want, not what we don't want, but what is the I. Is it not just a belief, an idea, a presumption? And many were like that, they were saying, like someone else said, but then what happens to all our work? And we've been working so hard, and should we just then keep it aside? You know? So this a lot of fear can come when the question is first asked, who am I? A lot of resistance can come. So so usually I find that if you've suffered a lot, if you feel that life is not working, then I find a lot of openness to the inquiry, who am I? But if there's a sense that I'm there, I'm going to make it happen, and whatever, then that thing of let's check who the I is can feel almost depressing to some because we're on the sugar high of the I, the adrenaline rush of the I. I was very happy with that interaction because many of the resistances which sometimes we are shy to speak up in satsang can come like that in a social environment. As I just take the booklet and one day if you feel like reading it, then maybe we cannot be pushed into self-inquiry. So anyone who comes to satsang also, I tell them don't push anyone to come here or to understand anything. It's very direct. It's very direct. Stacy says the walk on this path has become much easier thanks to the wonderful light you're all shining on it. So much love and gratitude to you all. Actually, what happens here is that I see all of you and the light which is radiating through all of you, and I find it difficult to ever say, okay, he should be sharing or he should not be sharing. I feel all of you should be sharing it. So the same Sadguru shines through all. Many of you have had such beautiful. Also, initially you might have been a little shy, but that reminds me, I enjoyed very much what Omkar shared once on the Advaita channel. I don't know if you remember that. Just very beautiful. And I told him you must share more and more, and he stopped sharing. Not even reacting. Oh, he's reacting. What happens sometimes also, maybe I don't stress on this point enough, is that the minute you have the sense that I'm sharing or I'm posting something that came up from there, then immediately this realm, there is always some resistance, someone who will come and say, but why, who said you could share yet? Or but you don't sound anything like your master. Some resistance like that will come from the world. And that's okay. It's very natural for it to come because the mind has to fight back these things. So it's completely fine to go through that, use it for our own inquiry, and it keeps us beautifully humble. Because very often the spiritual ego can become strong if we are sharing. It can seem like, oh, I'm sharing satsang and it's so great. Then life will come with a whack.
What I find funny is that these concepts about sharing and everything, it comes after we start with satsang.
Exactly.
Before you never come because you always share. It's always
Exactly.
conversation happening. It's only after satsang about this concept about bullshit.
Yes. It's good. It's good.
That's funny.
Very good point. He says that before satsang, in our life, whatever we've learned, we've always shared. Whatever has been seen is always spoken about. It's only after the satsang thing that this sharing becomes only the gurus can share or something like that. This concept.
Because of the subtle belief in the role, right?
And it was here also very strongly. Because here, if someone was to ask me, I would say, I never want to share satsang. I'll just sit at the feet of my master, please. It's too much. Seems like too much trouble to me. Then beings would come with expectations and then like that. It just seemed like too much work. So for me, there's so much joy at the feet of my master. Why?
Isn't that also a function of how clearly you see yourself? Because then when you speak from there, you really notice the skill and the role is not is very diminished.
Actually, there's
Because it's true for any role you play, not just
one is
in this topic.
one sense that you have, and I always feel like that is that if you're being able to share simply, not relying on usually long sentences and fancy words, then there's a deep understanding. If the world operates on this notion that if you can't convince them, then confuse them. You've done your job. So if it means a lot of fancy language and not able to say simply what you are pointing to, then but even that I don't mind. Actually, with my approach has always been come up and share whatever is coming up, because in that moment of sharing, a lot of things become clear for ourselves. That this is still here, this has not been clearly looked at. And when these kids started coming, it was a lot of things were not being expressed properly even from here. We found it very beautiful, but we did a lot of contemplation together actually, which also helped this expression in a big way. We were sharing very. But one thing that really helped throughout was this sense of having integrity to what is directly seen. Not to speak something which was just heard about, or scriptures have said this, or even Bhagavan has said this. Not to like that. To use them as illustrations, but not just to be reliant on somebody saying. It has to have been tasted here first. All have said like this. Papaji has said, I'm not looking for followers. Guruji has said, and I have also said from the beginning.
So what is it that's kind of height. It's not it's worth being spoken about. I still deeply cherish and be about
I still cherish a belief that it can't be spoken about.
that I feel that for some the way is sharing, and for some it is solitude. It can't be like a blanket kind of solution for everybody. And if you do something which goes against your brain, it could lead to something maybe wrong that's ideas.
It's the sense is that it is solitude that I prefer, and that is very beautiful also. And this solitude, this silence itself, is a great sharing to the world. What you share in silence, true silence. True silence is silence of the absence, the absence of the egoic belief is the true silence. So in that, whether you're speaking words, you're sitting quietly, or you're just singing bhajan, that is the most beautiful sharing. See? Sometimes what happens is that we have created some concepts around this whole sense of sharing. So there can be a concept that I must have read all the scriptures before I can start speaking, or something like that. Or there can be a sense that I'm not free yet, that's why I cannot share.
But actually, beings come with very peculiar sorrow and some very, it's extremely idiosyncratic. And sometimes there's a feeling that that has to be directly addressed, or sometimes there's a feeling that if you address it, it only aggravates it and it must be completely left aside. So then there needs to be a lot of, I feel that even in interacting with anybody responsibly, not like those, as I used to believe that you have to bear the burdens of their life or whatever. But even in the moment, what is the response that will steer them toward the truth, or maybe completely derail them for some time, and then again, of course, it will come up in a different manner.
Yes, this is a good point. So I should make it clear that my encouragement for sharing is to those who are in touch with their intuitive presence. So they're in touch with that intuitive presence and it's flowing in that way. Rather than just sharing from the mind, then I would switch off completely. Yes. So I'm encouraging the Sangha members because they've been here for a long time, and I feel that all of them are in touch with the Sadguru within and can be beautiful instruments to be the voice of the Sadguru. So the encouragement is for that. It would never be an encouragement to share from the conceptual mind and to share like that. And I don't feel that if anyone comes to those who are speaking intuitively, they can be misled in any way. So in fact, it's better to not hear anything than to hear someone who's speaking as the mind of the person. So the encouragement and the prodding and the pushing from here is for all of those who've been in satsang and now are so in touch with their intuitive presence that just some conceptual things are just holding back. You see. In fact, I would not want anyone to go to anyone who just knows all the scriptures but speaking from the mind. Then what you said can happen. Then you could say, okay, for 10 years I learned some scripture and then we'll like that or something. There is a time initially also that it feels like the intuitive presence is felt but no words are coming. And that is also perfectly fine. Every expression plays out what is directly experienced here. So from here, my master was always encouraging what is here to share. So obviously, it has to play out like that.
Father, can I say something? The intuitive presence is felt here, but his words don't necessarily come. And so that's why there's some hesitation, like on a Friday thing. But I mean, words might come. It's not that it's just blank, but I don't know. It feels true. It's not like it's just a line. I know that, but it somehow there's.
So she says intuitive presence is here. There's a feeling that words don't necessarily come, but words also come. And now she's saying, but
Just really express.
it doesn't feel.
No, it's just I don't want to.
First thing I want to tell everyone is not to worry about it. Because if the sharing, if the Sadguru has to use you as an instrument, it will.
It just feels like I don't want to talk at all unless it's just unstoppable. And unless it's just flowing without. And so
Just with the innocence of a child, let it unfold. Don't create any conditions for or against. Let it just be. So on Friday or now, if I tell you, just share, ask your question, and you feel that something comes up, then just with that innocence, it can be expressed with no sense of is it happening well or am I saying the right thing or should I self-censorship. Like, because what happens also is that as we start to allow this, what is happening in satsang? What is the point of satsang? The point of satsang is to introduce you to the Sadguru within. It is not for you to rely on this outward form, the master. And as part of the introduction of the Sadguru within is the way it is flowing from here, is for you to find, like it could be on Fridays or any other time where you find that yes, His presence is here. I don't know where the words come from, and they were so beautiful. It can be anything, it can flow anywhere. But you will find more and more that you rely on this Sadguru. It will not be the sense that I'm asking Anandi to share, or I'm asking Bhakti to share, Vedika to share, not like that. It's more like just we are allowing this what is here to remain as an instrument to the Sadguru which is here, and allow the to flow. And what are the words for? They are for ourselves primarily. I could hear from here that the words that were coming were thorns which were used to remove conditioning. Even here, what was there? So it is for us as much as for everyone else who comes in the presence of the Lord. And I know very well that the sense can be there that I never want to share, or I want to share only when it's so strong, because that's what we've heard. And yet, here what happened was that we were just going to do these video satsang. And then these questions just started coming to me, and the answers were also coming to me. Just like this, we created an environment now on Fridays where questions are coming to you, and you'll see that answers are also coming to you. Because there's a sense of, but this is this right or not right? Am I ready? Not ready? Do I want to do it? That also is being seen now in your own life. This will also dissolve.
Like I said, principles that you talk about sharing on video on the computer, very good. Am I sharing my life, my like current situation? Like what you talk about having the courage to be something and spontaneously share. I felt that it was important for me to manifest that in my life. So I told I restricted, I didn't need it because I'd been hiding for many months and just the same the conflict about then sharing this or we associated on the same thing. So just wanted to tell that the video thing is just an extension.
Extension,
As
yes.
life as one flow. Be humble wherever you put aside our ego and all points on camera or off camera.
Yes. Exactly. The same authenticity, the same integrity, just like that. When power has been handed over to the Sadguru within, then all rules can play naturally, the way it wants to.
The thing is how the same statements keep striking us again and again with the greater beauty. Like very awesome. I recently heard Shankara said that the root of all problems is only
Only, yes, Ananta, yes.
That's it. So I was amazed by that. I might have read it hundreds of times, but it struck me.
All pointing to the same truth. Karamveer says, Father, about sharing, I have a question. A few days before, I had a word with Guruji Sangha, Bruno on Skype. Guruji had blessed that this time we will have Hindi live satsang like Russian one. Yes, very good. Yes. A few years ago, this also happened. So I was in Bangalore actually, and then I got a call from Lakshmi, and then Guruji was there in the background. And Lakshmi said, "How's your Hindi?" or something like that. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. So I said, "It's all right, but what is it about?" So she said, "We need a translator for Guruji Satsang." And we felt you'll be. I said, "My Hindi is not that good, you know, and I don't feel because I can't translate consciousness and awareness. I don't know the words for this in Hindi." So she was there and she told Guruji in the background. So from behind I heard a voice saying, "Coward!" So I said, okay, tell him whatever his will do, but just know that my Hindi is not that good. And then we got over there, then again they were asking, so who's going to do? Then I noticed that, Chaitanya, or anyway, so we found some other translator. Pradeep was one, and one more, and it was very funny satsang. What happened is that Guruji would speak one sentence, And the translation would go on for 3 minutes. And I could see that they were adding on. Then one lady came who was really good. I felt she was really snappy with the translation instant. So yes, this time also I know that there's a mail about Hindi translation. So let's see this time who the translator is. In fact, that is the satsang in which Guruji ultimately said, because it went so haywire, that Guruji ultimately said you have to be a little mad to be free. You know who from Bangalore, no? Somebody came up and asked a question. The video is there on YouTube. You have to be a bit mad to be free. So after the Hindi satsang, that whole question answer session started. There were two translators. There were two at one point. Yeah.
I think Ananta.
The nature of the mind is such that first it wants to convince you that you haven't got it, and then also that it wants to be super irritated if anyone else is feeling like they have. So actually within the Sangha I would feel like, oh now this one is sharing, now this one is also sharing, now this one, what am I doing? And look at her, she's not even sharing properly. So it's just we are sharing within the Sangha. We are not giving any certificate. I'm not saying that it's the truly enlightened ones only who have to come up and say nothing. It's just among the Sangha, we just, as if we're sitting in a chai shop, just keep it simple. Right? We put it on a pedestal and then get the ego involved. Maybe I'm just tired of hearing my own voice. We enjoy the Friday satsang.
Yes.
We do.
I was really very briefly I could walk somewhere.
Yes.
Will it be every Friday now?
Yes. Would you like it to be on?
No, it's just because
You're saying Azar can't make it on Fridays.
Friday.
Other people go out work.
The date we can decide, but the idea.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
very,
yes.
very
It's
good.
very
It's very good.
The sense is that on one of the days, Friday, we said TGIF Satsang, where the Sangha can ask questions to other Sangha members and they answer. If there are no questions, then I pretend to be the seeker questioner and come up with questions. In fact, the first one, I asked all the questions. Some people never returned to Satsang because of that. They came midway.
But the first day I joined at the end and I was so desperate to come and field your question.
Oh yeah, I saw your message. There was some who didn't come. One came in person here, and she left. She left twice actually. She came and she left in 5 minutes, and then she came back and left again in 5 minutes. Never came back. She was like, Why am I coming to him? He doesn't even know this basic stuff he's asking everyone.
Did you know her?
So we have to have some sign over there saying that, we just. Actually, I don't mind. If everyone feels I don't know anything.
See, when Bhagavan, there was some booklets where he had been written saying, listing all his flaws, that these are his flaws, and he doesn't know anything. He's a mediocre person. He's a dull person. He said, somebody had written about all these things about him. So he said, this is the best. You should keep it outside the ashram. You get as many copies.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing.
Distribute it so that only those who make it fast that they can come in.
I heard the story that there was some ashram politics going on between ashrams or something, and there was people who were just bad mouthing Bhagwan so much. He's like this, like that. And he said it's very good. They must continue like that, and so that only those ones who really are looking for this, which is what I am saying, only those who. Because what can happen in ashram is that people feel that it's a religious place, all kinds of things. So you come, a lot of just regular visitors can come there who are not really interested in inquiry. Yeah. Every day there was trouble.
Sure, because all kinds of people would land up.
I'd like to see one of those booklets. You just change the name.
Yeah. And then another one, he actually corrected all the punctuations in the Malayalam one.
Somebody printed out a Malayalam thing. Saying that he was married, he had 4 kids, and all that.
Oh, so they must hear like this. So once some people who were in this political thing published a booklet about Bhagwan in Malayalam, which is completely made up, that he was married and he had 4 kids. It was propaganda or something.
Some sannyasi, some sadhak came and he just went about town and got all the facts and Bhagwan corrected everything and returned it also.
Bhagwan proofread that and returned it.
You want to say the story?
No, he said proofread corrected. He didn't correct all these other parts.
Okay,
Only syntactical punctuation.
And so when the only other person who knew Malayalam wrote these translated came back and everybody said, this is the new biography of Bhagwan has come and yes, personally is corrected. And he took it and he read it and he started weeping. She was shocked, Bhagwan, I love all this. And he said, as if he did something hard. He said, as if this is, and he said, this is not true. Bhagwan said, as if what any of you is saying is true.
He also, with Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, also something similar. Mahadevki was sharing this time that after she moved in and things like that to the ashram, there was some so-called journalist who did one expose type article on him and it's published in the papers. And she went to him with it and said, look at them, look at what they've written and things. So Yogi Ram Surat Kumar just read everything like that, finished it. And then he went to the starting and says, my father blesses you. Next page, my father blesses you. All the pages, which was all this rubbish about him was written. And he says, my father blesses you. Such beautiful. To hear these stories. Actually, here, I don't know what will happen, to be sure, but if something like that happen, I'm sure I'll be okay with what is here. But if someone says something about Guruji, then I still want to strangle them. That attachment to the master is still there.
I think this point that she brought up is related to the first one also about sharing. Again, it's so clear. The role and the skill are very different. Not very good. And then if they can do something well, they talk about it. And I think satsang or do the job or anything else. I think that's why these people are good.
Now Karamveer is saying, Father, my mind is saying that it's such a great opportunity to be with Guruji and learn as much as missing Hindi words you can, so you can be fluent and practice on them. I will take that feedback. Quite a few were saying that you should translate. I just find it as a disservice to his words if he's saying, the light of your presence, and I'm like, Hindi, आपकी रोशनी के लिए something. It just doesn't flow naturally like that because I've not lived up north for many years, and since I got married in the family, we only speak English. So it's not about really what anyone will think of me. More like because the translation that I would like to hear of his words has to be flowing and very beautiful. Amaya says, always try to send others to you or Guruji, but sometimes they just want to talk, want a one-on-one talk. So share what is here, which you and Guruji made available. Friday satsangs are beautiful. Yes. In fact, here the feeling to have one-on-one has never been there. If you see from the beginning, we've hardly ever had a one-on-one session. Just not there. And I get quite a few requests for one-on-one sessions, so I'll start pointing them to the Sangha, I feel. Bhakti will sing something. Long time since you've sung. We'll all join you, of course. You forgot all the songs. There was one that you and Jyotika had sung many years ago, which YouTube found so authentic that they copyright blocked that.
Egoic.
Yes.
Sing now. Egoic Satnam Karta Purak Nirbhav Nirvay Akal Murat Ajuni Sevan Guru Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jagat Sach है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच सोचे सोच ना होवे जे सोचे लखवार चुप चुप ना होवे जे लाल लाल Bukya bukna udvi jabanna pujava sehas pramati like nachlena ke visachiya rahue ke vikune tatpa hukum na jai jana nanak likhiya.
There is a video on this actually. I took the nickname one day, and I was just some commentary was coming up. I was sharing one day on the Ustream during the Ustream days. Maybe Amaya will remember whether that video got deleted. Ustream just deleted quite a few of our videos. So, also the Ribu one, we did one Ribu
So sad
one, which is very nice.
Because that one was on the invited channel when we were on Ustream on the invited channel.
Oh,
because you did a sharing.
I see. That's
So
why.
all of those, yeah, but all of yours were saved.
Okay.
But it's the one that you did on the invited channel.
On
You
the
were
Advaita
covering
channel,
for
okay.
Bhagavad.
Oh, that's why. So actually, it's a funny story that so it felt like I wanted to share like that day, and then this doubt came that can you really share from like that without covering your head? So covering your head with the Sikhs, you have to wear a head turban as a sign of reverence to the Guru. So then I called my friend Amrinder, who's a Sikh, and said, this feeling is there that I want to read from there. What do you feel? Should I cover? Because it's going to be broadcast. Then first he said, no, it should be absolutely fine. Then he says, to be safe, just it's good if you wear that hanky thing. So that's the only satsang I shared with that head cover.
You're sharing from the
Room.
yes.
Actually, the scriptures in Sikhism, so beautifully Advaitic. In fact, there's this mantra, this chanting that they have called Ajay Ale. We were hearing it that day, which is just so beautiful. I can't make out your sign language. Why? Okay. I'm coming. She says it's there on the Ananta Peace channel. So we moved all the.
Not that one.
Not the Ribugita one, this one, she's saying.
Oh, I see.
The head cover.
Oh, I see.
I don't remember, to be honest, exactly what happened. I just remember it was very beautiful.
You were reading from
Nickname, yeah.
And then you were giving your own
Yes.
interpretations after the paragraph. I remember because I was at work and then exactly I don't remember what, but the whole thing, father was pointing it, what does it mean?
It's very beautiful. Ekomkar Satnam Kartapurak Nirbhava Nirvair Kakal Murvat. I'll do one day. It's just pointing exactly the same as what we are pointing at. Also talks about the grace of the Guru, because it's the Guru Prasad.
Yes. Actually, this song, Father, I sang first when I was doing the clinical
Yes.
that time. But actually, what had happened was that when I was in college, and we are all over related to Sikhism.
Yes.
So what had happened was once in college only, this started playing to me, like
Yes.
just playing in your. So when that happened, I researched on it, and that's when like it felt something like I don't exist. That was the first. I've never shared this, but that was the first feeling for other life, and it stayed there for a week, continuously every morning for other life. So that's when I kind of started singing myself.
Oh, she says, but she doesn't think that the Ekomkar one is there. Okay. And Parvati says the Ribu one is one of my favorites of yours. That one is lost.
So if it was that, she's referring to the one on the Ustream invited channel.
Raising our hopes 1 minute and the next day.
Oh, she's saying we're raising our hopes 1 minute and dashing them the next. It's happening with me also as I'm reading their commentary.
So sad.
It's okay. You can read one day the Ribu Gita.
Yeah. So sweet.
Thank you so very much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji Ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai, Jai.
Thank you, Jayesh, for moderating today. Coming to Bangalore for a week.
Am I coming for a week? No, Father. I'm going to Delhi. But I'm planning on coming next week, Father.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you, my dear. We can end the broadcast now.